get punished big time for that, but the nice little line of sight breakage there. Got the high ground. Looks like Pentabot's up top, but eyes are on Okus here. 165 below now. They're getting tagged by everyone here. Seems like the high ground team is recognizing that they were in a bit of a desperate situation there. And since their second height, it's like they're posing a threat to height. So they're almost asking for that team to focus on them.
Yeah, and another, I wouldn't call it max pull. The players on the south side of the zone got that, but it's definitely going to be a tough one, especially since you're 34 below. Active surge, every 7 or so seconds, 25 damage, and you don't get knocked. You go out of the game altogether. Cold and Rapid, we saw them below the damage threshold. We thought they were going to fight, but they did not take it. And even though it's only 7 below, Ritual could peek out, land a shotgun shot from a far distance to get himself above. He knows this next zone, he will once again fall below, so he needs to play it perfect.
It's really interesting, right? They had 2 full chug jugs when we first tuned in with them, and a team right next door. They could have took the fight.
We got ourselves a powerhouse duo. Let's talk about another duo here. It's Josh and
the way that they did right here, given how much heals they had and try to get damage on the rotate, but in the end, it doesn't pay off, and it seems like that might have been the wrong call. And now they're going to also get sent to the lobby. And this is long before we're talking real placement points, right? The meaningful back half of the end game is still yet to come here. There's 30+ teams alive.
Yeah, 6 of them need to go down before you even get the beginning of those placement points. Half of them are in the top 10, and then you get to the meat potatoes, top 5, top 3 situation. As we jump on board the boys from Elite, Yamzo and Josh, 400 damage above. They land at Wonky Land. So not too far of a journey for them so far, but a whole nother team trying to push their way in. Josh fires the shot, but he takes one right back. 55 damage, and the spray is coming in, so they're trying to build some extra space to alleviate this pressure.
Playing very smart here. Of course, Yamzo buying Josh a little bit of room as well, swapping over to the metal. They are base down extremely strong. Looking from the top down, though, you can see players now starting to kind of hover and congest themselves around a little bit of land that is still in play here as things are going towards the coast of the Golden Grove. Kaz, Noah plays, making an appearance right now. Can they fight their way to another finals?
16 above. This is like those mental games. You almost want to pad the stats to make sure you don't have to worry about it, but all it takes is one shot being fired back to put you below that damage threshold. They're able to pressure that team out from underneath. Kind of makes it a little bit safer, one less thing to worry about. But if you look off in the distance, right now, Javi and Aminish is the first team that is starting to build up and look like they're trying to claim that high ground.
Got Buzz Rise opting to play ultimate low right now. They have enough damage to kind of weather the storm here. They have the luxury of taking their time on these rotates as well, but they go with their early jump here now. Plenty of time to look around and to start to affect the rest of the lobby, download the information so they can continue to play a strong end game here and rotate without taking unnecessary fights or damage. Let's look back to the high ground. Let's look at Javi and Aminish. What's the situation looking like? You can tell already the commitment with the metal big base here is telling us that they are confident in playing this one out right now, and they're pretty determined to put in work from the high ground.
Yeah, they're even building the makings of a semi-surge base up here, just making sure nobody can safely shockwave up and try to contest them in the clouds. They have a good amount of shockwaves for this next zone, but they get it relatively close to them. They don't have to worry about shockwaving out. They just got to worry about maintaining their composure against Power and Penta, who are also building up. It's 2 teams trying to battle each other out to try to claim that high ground. Power and Penta are a little bit closer to where the zone is going to go, so Javi and Aminish are trying to focus them down, distract them to hopefully they go down altogether.
Not gonna lie, we'll just have to jump back into that in a second because Buzz is cooking down here. He's already picked up an elimination here in the end game and then destroying players on the outer edge. You know those refreshes are gonna come very much welcomed, but look at this. Javi and Aminish didn't like the pressure that was coming in from Penta and Power. They end up giving it up here as they kind of play this second height, but we know that once you concede the ultimate high ground, you are the target, and they switch on over to wood. So this is all telling that players have sort of started to gas out here, but Power, Penta, with just 27 builds, they're trying to give themselves some more placement points. Right now.
Yeah, both of those might have been a smart play. They used all of their material, and so instead of battling it out and maybe a third-party team comes in, we're saying, hey, we'll revisit that topic later. But Penta and Power have not slowed down. But you see the ammo, the medium bullets. Penta is quickly running out here, so there's only a certain amount of pressure he's only going to be able to keep putting out.
That's right. Now jumping down to it. It's Josh and Yamzo here. A single elim. Endgame's in front of them. They're going to need a fight for a refresher, but hold that thought as a Minish. Javi, get into the action here. They also needed to fight for something here, and they end up getting the elims, but is there enough of a refresh? There sure is. Javi finds himself with 400 plus material. A Minish gets a little bit of wood there as well, and they springboard their way to 4 elims and a nice little position here for the end game.
Yeah, all anybody has to do is look up, but for now, Penta and Power smooth sailing, threats and visuals underneath. You can see they haven't really been challenged too much. Almost full chug jugs, materials looking good. Muzz and Rise being forced outside of the zone, tick by tick. They're taking a ton of damage. But Rise and Muzz, Monster is a team that had a bad day one of the play-ins. They made up for it big in day 2, just like Josh, getting back-to-back eliminations on Nut and CDZ.
See it, visuals moving around the outskirts here. Taking a lot of damage there. It's about 30 HP donated to the Storm. Power though, Penta still haven't given it up, and although they only have a single build here, make it just one right now. Muzz and Rise strike fast here from the outside. He actually gets the knock on the cross there. Rise does as well. He gets the full finish. It's a fight for high ground. Eoxy and Jojo Fishy want a piece of the action as well, and they're going to be the Kingmakers now who actually remain in control.
Yeah, perfectly timed. They're just waiting for the 10th, 11th zone. They know they have the materials and shockwaves, so they just send it up, forcing Muzz and Rise to go back down below with not only missing HP and shield, but the lack of materials that they invested for it all. And now they're getting tagged up in the distance. Eoxy and Jojo Fishy, you can see they're running out of build. Jojo Fishy just has 1 material left. If anybody starts to target out that high ground, it could turn the tables instantly.
Look at this, Rise left by himself as Muzz ends up falling there. Muzz looking to take a fight with the team that's above him. I like the play, but not enough to stay in the storm for it. But there it is, the refresher onto Donnie. Oh, he gets a lot there to work with. Some extra heals, extra mats as well. Jojo and Oxy have already exhausted their builds. They're almost forced to come on down. And everyone that we've jumped in with, Jacob here, does not have material.
Everybody invested so much for the earlier high ground. You're seeing Javi and Minish just kind of stuck down below, recycling builds, but Rise is still going off. 1 elimination, hanging on by a thread, but he's weaving in and out of the builds in a 1v1 against Josh. High ground is pressuring him further and further down, essentially saving Josh here in that moment, but he has the mythic 1-pump shotgun, so he can definitely deal a ton of damage almost any situation he's in, but Rise is still not done just yet. He's running out of materials, but he's putting himself in a good position to look back. Down goes a Minish. Rise in a 1v1 against Javi. He gets cut short, but you got to give him an A for effort.
That was so close, bringing Javi down to 30 HP. Slightly bigger of a shot, and he would have had the clutch of his career. But Dojo Aoxy making it look nice and easy, although they have no material. The timing was just brutal to everyone else in the lobby, and they're coasting their way through right now. Flex here has a solo down low. I almost think everyone's a solo here. The pressure's just too much. Flex gets a little bit more points. He's inside the top 3. But Eoxy and Jojo, this is their game to win right now.
Yeah, they just got to go through Jargo and Carillion. Got 7 eliminations down below on the low ground. They're instantly pressuring. They have that mythic pistol. A lot of the new mythics, if you get them in the right player's hands, they deal a ton of damage. Shockwaving up, trying to focus on the Jargo. Bounces himself out of zone, takes a lot of damage, and that's going to lead to his demise. Eoxy goes down. Jojo Fishy gets one. 1v1 situation. Jargo and Carillion clutch up again.
With the 9 elims at the end there. And not only that, they actually did it from the low ground. Just unprecedented victory royale for themselves there. Talk about a difficult situation to be in. But in the end, Jacob, they end up pulling through.
Yeah, they clutched up to make it to the Summit Land, and now they clutched up again to make it to the Grand Finals. That's game 1, Zeke.
No. You cannot cut it that close in game number 1. Jargo and Carillion, and almost 10 eliminations, 9 to their name, again, in game 1. That is a massive statement, right, guys? You come out and you say, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and win game 1. We're going to do it in this fashion. 5 HP?
I mean, what's crazy to me is that we literally have not seen them compete since Major 1. We didn't get to watch the open qualifiers unless you were watching them through a co-streamer. And then we get one game of Jarku and Carillion, and that's it now. We don't get to see them until next week, but honestly, playing that low ground was really smart. We saw Aoxy and Jojo Fishy kind of controlling the high ground, and so I thought that there was just too much chaos on the low ground for anyone to really be able to...
Bro, chat, I was muted the whole time, bro. Oh my god, bro. Chat, I was muted the whole time. Bro, I was telling y'all that Josh, or not Josh, but Josh is my girlfriend, but Zoe is Zoe. Yeah, Zoe. Zoe is my cousin. Josh is my cousin girlfriend. But yeah. Because they say I never please